Hello everyone and welcome back to Invincible Guarding the Globe, and today I will be doing a review on the latest hero in the game, Brit, and at the end of the video doing some summons to see if we can get some more copies of him. So if you do enjoy today's video, then feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for all of the support in the previous videos. Again, it means a lot. And yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So a new hero event is here for Brit. I'll be doing a quick overview of that and then giving you all of the details on the new hero because he looks good. He looks very, very strong, and finally we have a GDA character that is up to contest the best teams and best heroes in the game. So obviously the event is here, and it's very similar to all of the other previous hero events. If you are new though, the way it works is there is a trophy road which you unlock points for by doing the missions here. There are event deals where you can obviously spend real money, or ideally the gem bundles here, and the event itself has GDA op which you want to run and get through as many waves as possible to then get tokens to spend in the shop. And there's also another GD op here which requires only Brit to run. These do require tickets, so you can't do them unlimited. And then if we have a look here, there's an event shop with the chance to then obviously acquire Brit himself and also the other heroes from the GDA faction. So in terms of the shop, what you probably want to do is don't be too picky, get any elite you can, get the shop up to about level 6 or 7 if you can, as I've done so here. And then once it's up to this level, you can be a bit picky if you want, or if you want to invest fully and heavily into this event and you have quite a few gems to spare, maybe even just get the shop up to level 8, 9 or 10, and then you can start going for what you'd like. In terms of what to look out for when you can be picky with this event, Donald is fantastic, Shapesmith is fantastic, Brit, the new hero, and I'll go over him in a second, is looking to be incredibly strong. And then the other GDA heroes are pretty okay, some of them are pretty meh. Cecil's decent, I would say, the Immortal's decent, and Robot's decent. Otherwise the rest are hit or miss. But yeah, that's the event there, and yeah, let's have a look at the new hero Brit. So I know he's been requested by the fans for a long time, and he is finally here. He is of course from the GDA faction, the Global Defense Agency. He is a defender, and his tags include melee, grounded, leader, human, and the Guardians of the Globe. So pretty standard and pretty expected. However, his stats are pretty insane, and then obviously I'll go over the skills in a second. But if we just have a quick look at them here, firstly his HP, his health, at level 1, by default he is 6.05k, and obviously when you level this up this will go up, but it's higher than Thrag's, which is pretty insane because Thrag has a lot of HP. Now, if we have a look, is it higher than Conquest? It is higher than Conquest. It's higher than Conquest, it's higher than Thrag. Dinosaurus, yep, higher than that. So yeah, his health is pretty insane. Attack 1.45, that's not really here or there, and defense 847, obviously higher than Thrag, higher than Dinosaurus, and higher than Conquest. So his stats on themselves are pretty insane. They are good. They definitely are high. And then if we have a look at his skills, this is where it's very interesting. And for the first time, I think, or for the first time, you have to scroll to read through the abilities. So I'll go over the abilities just now, and hopefully you can follow along because it is a lot of information. But his main skill is Bombs Away at level 1. This basically has two parts. So firstly, there's a passive to the main skill, which hasn't been done before, which is very interesting. And the passive is Brit is immune to stun effects, which on its own is great because stuns can really disrupt your team, and becomes exhausted instead of dying when his HP reaches 0. When his HP is restored to 30%, he rejoins the battle. So he basically can't die. Now, if he gets exhausted and the rest of your team do die, I believe that then counts as a defeat, and he would be out of the game because it'd be unfair if he could just never die. But basically, yeah, he can't die, and if his HP goes to 0, he basically just takes a knee and won't do anything in the fight until his HP, at this case level 1, is up to 30%. So that on its own is very, very interesting. Because obviously in the comics and the show, his ability is that he can't take any damage. obviously translating that into the game here would be difficult because you can't just add someone in that takes 0 damage, because then they'd be completely overpowered. But obviously in this case, it's a cool way that they've reflected his, you know, superhero skill into the game. Now the actual skill itself, active, Brit detonates a bomb in his own hands, dealing energy damage equal to 650% of his defense to all enemies over a large area. Affected enemies also take burn damage equal to 300% of his attack over 10 seconds. This has a cooldown of 18 seconds. So a few things with this. Firstly, the damage is equal to his defense, which, as we've seen, is incredibly high. So that's a good amount of damage. The burn damage is okay. It's over 10 seconds, which is quite a long time. So if enemies are healing or anything like that, it doesn't do, you know, as big of a, you know, straight away impact on the on their health, but it does obviously deal damage over time. The only thing with damage over time in this game is it's not as effective as like instant or true damage, but that is still good. And cooldown of 18 seconds is very it's not the quickest, but it's definitely not, I guess, as long as it usually is. So 18 seconds is a pretty good time as well to get that off. And yeah, a pretty good skill on its own, and the passive is very, very interesting. Now if we have a look at this at level 10, it gets even better. So again, he can't die, but now he rejoins the battle if he gets to 27% HP instead of 30%. So not the biggest difference, but I think if it was a big difference, it would just be incredibly, you know, broken, because you basically never be dying. But still, you know, 3% off does make a difference. The bomb now detonates 700% of his defense as damage to all enemies over a large area. Affected enemies obviously take the burn damage, now equal to 390% of his attack, again over 10 seconds, and have their healing received reduced by 38% for 10 seconds, again with a cooldown of 18 seconds. So even more damage from the initial burst and from the burn, and then also the healing received is big and pretty good as well, because especially if the enemy team has healers, that will massively reduce their healing. Now if we have a look at this at level 15, this is where it gets pretty crazy. Because the HP for him to rejoin the battle is now 25%, so that's 5% off compared to level 1, which is pretty decent. The bomb now deals 750% of his defense damage, which is a lot. 450% burn damage, again over 10 seconds, is a lot as well. And healing received reduction on the enemies hit by 50% for 10 seconds is also incredibly strong. And on top of all that, Brit then restores 10% of his max HP for each enemy hit. So yeah, he not only deals a huge amount of damage and can't die, but he also heals himself with his with hitting the enemies, and he'll be hitting multiple enemies, because it says obviously here that it is a large area of a detonation. So even his main skill on its own looks to be very, very strong. Now he obviously has just come out, and nobody, I guess, as of yet that I know of, has got him up to a really high level, so we don't know exactly how he'll fare up against, you know, omnipotent plus heroes, etc. But just looking at the skills here, they look to be pretty insane, and that's even just the first skill there. If we have a look here at the second skill, is passive, it gets even crazier. And yeah, Brit looks to be super strong. So his passive here, Forever Agent, at level 1, if there is at least one human ally on the battlefield, Brit restores 1.5% of his max HP per second while exhausted. So this obviously ties in with the first skill here, the passive, where instead of dying, he just takes a knee and is exhausted. So basically, when he does get exhausted, he actually then builds up HP whilst he's exhausted, as long as there's a human ally on the battlefield. If you don't have any human allies, he won't regenerate the health, so that is something to consider. So now obviously at level 1 here, this will take some time for him to get up, you know, to that 30% or 25% health. But if we have a look at this at level 10, it does actually go up quite a bit more. So obviously with a human ally on the battlefield, he now restores 2.5% of his max HP per second while exhausted. So a good improvement there. Again, it won't be like that instant, but if it was, it would be overpowered. But 2.5% health per second while exhausted, and his main ability is charged by 25% when he rejoins the battle. So not only does he heal quicker, he can then, when he rejoins the battle after not dying, he will in fact then charge his main skill, which, as we've seen, is very strong, deals a huge amount of damage, and then also heals him further. Additionally, if there's at least one invader on the enemy team, defense reductions applied to Brit's team are reduced by 50%. Now this is very interesting, and this is most definitely a direct counter to one of the strongest heroes in the game, and they have been one of the strongest for a very long time simply because of their defense reduction. Now I'll go over that in a second, but if we just take a peek at level 15, this is where it gets crazy, because if you can get this skill to level 15 with Brit, then you will not only will he be incredibly strong, but you will basically counter one of the best heroes in the game. So at level 15, if there's at least one human ally on the battlefield, he now restores 3% of his max HP per second while exhausted, so even better. His main ability is charged by 50% when he rejoins the battle, so incredibly strong there. Additionally, if there's at least one invader on the enemy team, Brit's team is immune to defense reductions. Immune, which makes it that if there is a defense reduction against his team, they just will not have it applied. Now, this requires invaders, and if we have a look at the invaders, here you can see they are, and they are some of the strongest heroes in the game. Most definitely Universa, Thrag, Conquest, even Nolan are all incredibly strong, but the defense reduction, which I was talking about for the hero, is most definitely a counter to Anissa. Anissa's is a Viltrumite, and she deals a lot of damage, and her abilities are pretty strong. However, her main threat has come from her passive, which you can see here at level 15. She reduces the enemy's defense by 6% of her attack stat for each human on the enemy team. So basically what this meant is if you are against an Anissa, or if you're using Anissa yourself, is if there's any human enemies, then she basically reduces their health, the defense massively, especially if there's multiple human enemies, because it's for each human enemy. So if you have even 1 or 2 or 3 onwards, then, and you have a high level Anissa either on your team or against you, then it just decimates the defense, and you can crush the teams even if they're on the same power level or even higher. And this has been the case for a long time now. So if you have a Brit on your team now, and you have his passive at level 15, he completely counters that Anissa debuff, defense reduction, because not only obviously does it reduce the defense reduction at level 15 to 0, but also it's dependent on invaders, which Anissa herself is. So it doesn't need like Anissa and somebody, it literally just is, if there's an Anissa and you have this leveled up, you'll counter her immediately. Because obviously Brit even has the human tag himself, this is just incredibly strong, and I can definitely see how it can be probably quite frustrating to play against once people get him up to a high level, but also a great asset to use against high level Anissas. And I'm a little bit upset because Anissa is my highest level hero, and this kind of counters that, but I guess we'll see how it goes, and yeah, see how many Brits I come across that try and thwart me. Anyway, having a look at the third skill here, True Leader. At level 1, when any ally is defeated, any ally, it's not like a specific sub-faction or anything like this, any ally is defeated, the entire team gains a shield against either ranged or melee damage, depending on the type of enemy that secured the kill, equal to 10% of Brit's max HP for 5 seconds. So this is very strong, not only because any sort of shield is always nice, but also because it's when any ally is defeated. This also means summoned heroes. So for example, if you have a Krieg and he summons a Viltrumite and they die because obviously the Viltrumite isn't that strong, or if you have Doc Seismic who's summoning very weak Magma Knights or Robot or anything like this, or Cecil with the Reanimen, then yeah, you can probably trigger this quite a few times throughout the battle, and keep your team alive very well with it. So it does depend on allies being defeated, but it also counts for summoned allies, which really helps out, because ideally you don't want your allies to die obviously, but yeah, very strong there. And if you have a look at it at level 10, when any ally is defeated, the entire team gains a shield against either ranged or melee, depending on who secured the kill, equal now to 20% of Brit's max HP for 5 seconds. Now again, this is great because shield is fantastic, 20% is good, and it's based on his max HP, not his base HP, which means that if you have any good armor or artifacts or anything like this boosting up his stats, then it will go off of the boosted stats, not the stats before, you know, the armor, etc. So very, very strong there. 5 seconds isn't the longest, but it's still good to have. Their healing received is also increased by 23% for 5 seconds. So not only does it give them the shield, but it also boosts their healing, which is very, very, very good. And at level 15, it gets even crazier. So now the shield equals to 25% of his max HP. The healing is now received is increased by 33%, so a third, and their energy attack is increased by 35% for 5 seconds. So crazy, crazy buffs. It does require allies to die, but as I mentioned, it does count for summoned heroes, so a great skill there as well. All 3 skills so far have been fantastic. Now, if you have a look at his 4th and final skill, Cannonball, again, it is very, very interesting, and quite a long one as well. So, at the start of the battle, Brit throws himself towards the enemy team, dealing physical damage equal to 850% of his defense in an area around him. Additionally, at the start of the battle, and then every 30 seconds, he absorbs 10% of any damage taken for 10 seconds and converts it into a shield equal to the absorbed amount, lasting 15 seconds for himself and 1 random ally. So a lot to unpack here. Basically, at the start of the battle, he will throw himself at the enemy team, dealing a large amount of damage, and he absorbs 10% of the damage taken for 10 seconds, which is quite a long time, and he converts that into a shield for 15 seconds, which is a long time to have the shield, and not only is it for himself but also for an ally. So very, very strong. The throwing himself at the team will only happen at the start of the battle, but the shield will happen at the start of the battle when he does that, and also every 30 seconds. And then if you have a look at this at level 10, it gets even crazier. So he now obviously still throws himself at the enemy team. He still does damage, this time 940% of his defense in an area around him. So again, it's even in an area, it's not to one enemy, it could hit multiple enemies. Taunting affected enemies for 5 seconds, which is great. You know, Alan is also very good at this. Additionally, at the start of the battle, obviously, and then after 30 seconds, with the shield, he now absorbs 15% of any damage taken for 10 seconds and converts it into a shield equal to the absorbed amount, lasting 15 seconds for himself and 1 random ally. So he now absorbs even more damage and still gets that shield for himself and 1 ally, and the shield lasts a good time. And yeah, this is just crazy. And if we have a look at level 15, it's even crazier. He now obviously still throws himself at the enemy team. He now deals 1000% of his defense in an area around him of physical damage to the enemies, taunting them for 6 seconds and reducing their energy resistance by 25% for 10 seconds. So a long time on that, a huge amount of damage, and a really long taunt. Additionally, at the start of the battle and then every 30 seconds, he absorbs now 20% of any damage taken for 10 seconds and converts it into a shield lasting 15 seconds for himself and 2 random allies. 2 allies now, so him and 2 others, so 3 people. So huge amount of damage straight away to the enemy team, taunts them, absorbs the damage and reduces their energy resistance, and then continues to give shields throughout the game, and absorbs damage to himself and to his allies. So yeah, wow. I mean, looks to be kind of broken, not gonna lie. Again, time will tell how it will play. But yeah, Brit is he looks pretty good. He looks pretty strong. Maybe doesn't deal the most amount of damage. Maybe doesn't, do the most amount of disrupting, but even then, he's throwing himself at the enemy team, he's taunting them, he's immune to stuns, and his whole thing is basically that he is just very, 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 very difficult to be defeated. You can't obviously even be killed, just defeated. So yeah, that is his skills, and yeah, he looks to be good. Again, maybe it's too early to say, but I would definitely say, maybe even just straight into S tier for him, because yeah, his skills alone are incredible, and his stats are great as well, which obviously will be better when you level them up. So yeah, that is Brit. Let me know in the comments what you think about him, because even from initial looks here, he looks to be pretty strong. And yeah, I think that now leads us on to doing some summons for him, and let's hope we can get some copies. As you can see, I'm up at shop level 7. I don't have the most amount of currency, but we will see what we can get. Hopefully some Brits. That is definitely what I'm going for. Either that or some Shapesmiths. There we are. And ideally some Donalds as well would be good. I am going to be a little bit picky because I don't have the most amount of gems. Tokens available to spend. But yeah, we'll see what we can get here. And see if we can get lucky with some Brits. So we managed to get Shapesmith there. Going to skip the Bulletproof. Going to skip the Immortal. Again, I'll keep an eye on my refreshes because I don't want to run out of refreshes and then just have a bunch of tokens that I need to spend. But it's always good to maybe have a bit of extra tokens available. Not going to go for Cecil. Going to go for Shapesmith. Yep, definitely. I will definitely go for Shapesmith because, yeah, up until this point, it's really only been in this in the GDA faction. Shapesmith has been incredibly strong. Donald is pretty good, but have been, you know, quite rare, and the rest of the heroes just haven't been that great. So it's good to then finally have someone who is actually worth investing in and worth spending gems on, because most of the time whenever I see GDA faction, I just, you know, spend a few gems and leave it at that. I haven't actually spent all my gems yet on this event. I'm gonna see how it goes and keep an eye on what other people are saying, but because Brit does look so good, I might have to invest and go into this event a bit further because, yeah, he looks super good and I don't want to miss out on the chance to upgrade him and get him, and, you know, in the future, who knows how rare he'll be to get and stuff. Oh wow, double Brit! There we go. That is absolutely amazing. We'd love to see it. We will definitely purchase all on that. That is fantastic. I was just about to say, where are the Brits at? Where are the Brits? But there we go. We managed to get him. I'm almost at shop level 8, so I'm actually just going to summon a few things here. I'm just going to try and get the monster girl here and get up to shop level 8. But yeah, that is fantastic with that Brit there. I've only got him up to, I think, exceptional, but with those extra 2 there, I should be able to at least bring him up to exceptional plus, ideally epic. Oh, and another one! Let's go! Let's go! There we go, that's pretty good. And the snipe as well, let's go. Great luck. We're almost to shop level 8. And, my game's synced, so 1 second here. And we're back. Sorry about that. The game servers seem to need to resync. So yeah, anyway, let's continue on here. Managed to get Brit there, which is nice. I've just managed to accept the missions. So we are back in business for a few more summons. So let's see if we can get some more Brits, or Donald would be nice, or Shapesmith. Ideally Brit, because, yeah, you know, as we've seen, he looks to be super strong and very nice. So let's see if we get another elite. Actually, I will just go for it because we're running out of refreshes and I'm almost shop level 8. Cecil, I'm going to get that. Cecil's actually pretty decent, and especially with, you know, even with Brit, you know, with his allies dying buff, but also with a lot of the other heroes working very well with this, then yeah, I think Cecil might need to be upgraded a bit for myself. Actually, he's looking a lot better than he used to be. With his different synergies and things like that. So we are going to be a bit picky now. Hopefully we can get something within these last few refreshes. Oh, double with a Donald. Let's go. Donald and Bulletproof. We'll happily take that. Let's see if we can get anything else. Maybe a Brit. Hello? Oh, no. Unfortunately not there. Maybe we can squeeze out a few more refreshes here with these challenges. Get a cheeky token there. Yeah, perfect. How many refreshes? 4 more. Let's go. Let's see. Can we get something? Can we get something? 1 more? Nah, that's it. But still pretty good. And yeah, managed to get some decent luck. And, you know, Brit himself, he looks good. He looks strong. And, you know, time will tell, but based off of initial looks, he looks to be very good. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you think. Have you had any good luck with the event? What do you think about Brit? Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy today's video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Welcome to all the new subscribers again. Thanks for your support, and yeah, cheers and see you in the next one.